Hey, what's happening? I'm Trevor.
I'm Nick.
From the band Unearth, and you're watching Aggressive Tendencies. Why are you so damn angry, man?
I don't know. I prefer to keep it that way. No, I don't know. It's not anger, it's just how it writes. You know, that's how we think. Forward thinking with viciousness.
I think a lot of us like pissed off, aggressive music, so it just comes out of us naturally. And one thing we've noticed is that the songs that we tend to gravitate towards playing live are usually some of our heavier, more aggressive songs. So that's why I think this record just might have naturally been more pissed off in that direction. Plus, it helps having this guy on board. He's a very technical speed maniac.
No, not again!
What song stand out to you, Nick Pierce?
Trail to Fire is good. Track Fire. Swamp.
Never Cease.
Never Cease. Never Cease is a track that me and Buzz wrote a lot of together. Like, the way we work was a little bit abstract. Since I live in Seattle, they're in Boston. Like, he'll send me 30 seconds of a riff, and I cut and copy and paste all of his stuff, and then send him back a minute and a half of riffing. And that's how 80% of the album was written, with just me and him bouncing ideas off of each other. And so I think, and part of that too was me sending him drum parts without any guitars to him, just drum ideas that I sent. And a lot of the album was written by that, or a lot of songs, riffs and songs were written that way as well, having just drum beats, you know, for breakdowns or for whatever type riff. And I think that up-tempo type shit, you know, kind of facilitated some of the albums, like writing grooves like that, and then me and him collaborating like that. And I think that's why things turned up a little more vicious and fast and aggressive, because we wrote with the same chemistry in mind. Like, we had a direction, and once we found that niche, we stuck with it.
For me, Trail to Fire and Never Cease are standouts. And also cop-outs, and I think the whole record. But I think on a different day, sometimes I like different songs more than the other ones. And so it's kind of like a constant tug of war of my favorites. But those two for sure stand out, and I do like the title track quite a bit. That one just feels kind of anthemic to me. I think it's the best way to end that record. And so right now, probably those three are the ones that are speaking to me most, but I know next week will be something else.
No one will take it away! Take it away!
I feel like some bands kind of, like, they try to change their ways with the times, and maybe it didn't pan out for them. You know, maybe what they were going for isn't what the fans wanted, you know. And I think in Unearth we more or less do what we want to do, and no matter what that may be, it's still going to sound like Unearth.
I think each record does sound different from the one before it. But it definitely, it all has that Unearth flavor to it, for sure. But we play what we like, you know. We like aggressive, melodic, heavy metal with our hardcore roots. I guess it's just where we come from, and what comes out of us naturally. You know, we could try to force something. Maybe one day we'll try to we'll get inspired by something. It might make us want to write something totally different. But I think each record we do mix it up enough where it's different and not stagnant, like you said, and just try to make a killer record. You can call a band like us metalcore. I don't really hate the term, because we do blend real hardcore with real metal. There's a lot of stuff that people call metalcore today. It's not metalcore. I would call it more pop metal, because they're influenced by metalcore bands, which then waters it down. There's no hardcore in it at all. So it just sounds like a watered down version of metalcore, and you can't hate on the songs. I mean, they write poppy songs, and they're catchy, and they might be good and heavy at times, but it's not. I want people to stop calling it metalcore. Not us. I'm saying newer bands, just stop calling them metalcore, because there's no hardcore in it at all.
To me, it seems like maybe like a early to mid 2000s term. You know, like over the years, it got so cluttered with other mixes of, you know, different bands and elements, like you said, keyboards and, you know, clean vocals and all kinds of stuff, and so it can get a little bit hazy on the usage of the thing.
Through the bloodshed, bury your lies. Burn the face over one candle.
Stop with the fucking core thing. There comes a time in a band's career where they kind kind of have to shit or get off the pot. And sometimes dudes just have different stuff going on in their lives. You know, might have a family that they're building and they can't be gone, and or just they're not willing to commit to being in a band. Sometimes a band's popularity doesn't swell like they had hoped. Sometimes you don't manage your career properly. For us to stay afloat the past 3-4 years, we've been doing a lot of worldwide touring. You know, playing in places that haven't had us before, and just keep the band working. We played This Is Hardcore. That was our first real hardcore fest in years. We played one in Europe called Fest, but we used to kind of live at hardcore festivals. That's how we came up in the early 2000s, like the American Hell Fest all the time. So it's kind of a natural place for us to be. And then as the band progressed, we started playing more and more metal festivals, and we feel very comfortable there. It's kind of a cool thing for us that we can play both styles of festivals. The crowds are usually very different. Hardcore fest, they're all about the stage diving and more the aggressive dancing in the pit. And then the metal fest, you see a lot more circle pits, a lot more regular crowd surfing, more fists in the air, more participation on that front with the fist and the headbang and the circle pit. But the energy at a hardcore show is a lot different. A little more violent, but people aren't trying to hurt each other for the most part. I love that This Is Hardcore. They set up a stage in front of the actual stage of the venue. That's too high, so they put one lower so people could actually stage dive and crowd surf up. It was killer. It was well done by This Is Hardcore. Well, I think for aggressive underground music, it's not so much about getting a lot of money from deals, because it's really not that much money. It's more about us having the best shot in each territory. The whole idea behind it was each territory has their own label head, so they'll have their own budget to push the record. They'll have their own ties there, instead of it just being licensed out to different spots around the world. So we had a great time on Metal Blade over the years, but we just wanted to try something new. And these are short deals, and we could end up back there one day, but for now we have we're at E1 and Central Media and Howling Bull and 3Wise, so looking forward to putting out records for them. It's kind of the nature of the business is that labels always want to have something extra, whether it's a European edition or Japanese edition. They always want that extra song, and it's just part of the business. So, but the record itself, we want the record to be heard as the regular edition. That's the one that we feel is a complete album. The bonus tracks, even though the song's still pretty good, it takes away from the complete vibe of the record for us. So we wanted to start with the intro and end with Watch's Rule. That's what the record is to us. Check out the new record, Watch's Rule. October 27th, I believe, up in here in Canada. That's one we're very proud of, and we can't wait to play more songs live. And we'll see you on the road.